Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining me for this live today. I'm going to do a walkthrough now of installing a fresh Joomla installation using the JoomShaper Helix Ultimate 2 Quick Start package. And for a little bit of a change, I'm going to use the Joomla 4 one because it's new out there, and I've seen a lot of people talk about using Joomla 4 and Helix all together. And if you've got a brand new website to start, this is probably one of the easiest ways to do that because everything's already set up in there for you once you've installed things. So two things to get first. One is the download of the Quick Start package, and the Quick Start package from JoomShaper is basically Joomla 4 bundled with the Helix Ultimate template and also Page Builder, the free version. So if you pop across to the JoomShaper website, you don't need to log in to get this one. If we go to products and templates, and with the search icon at the top, if we literally just type in Helix and press return or whatever is on your keyboard, you will see the first one here is the Helix Ultimate Framework. Now we can hover over this and download it, pop-up box, and the one you want to grab is the Quick Start pack for Joomla 4. If you want Joomla 3 at this point still, the middle one's the one to go for, and the top one is just the template package alone, which at this point is not what we're going to be using. So I've already downloaded this one. If you download it, it will give you a zip file, and once we've got that, we need to jump onto our hosting and get that configured. Just as a bit of a reminder, if you're watching...
hearing you. Sorry, could you say that again?
No, I can't. That's my watch talking to me. Go away. If you're watching me live today, drop me a hashtag live in the comments, and any questions that pop up as we go through, again, drop them in the comments and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. So what Joomla needs is a hosting server somewhere, wherever you want to use one from, that has PHP and MySQL available, and it needs a database set up in order to be installed. So I use cPanel for my hosting, and in my control panel I've got a MySQL database wizard. Now you don't have to use this one. This will be a similar tool in most hosting control panels, be it Plesk or similar, where we can literally quick click on this one and it will walk me through creating a database. Now I have already got one, but I'm going to do another one for the sake of it, so you can see what happens. So I need to give it a name. Usually there's a limit on how long this name needs to be. Short is as good as anything. And I'm going to do the next step. So this is the database itself created. I now need to create a user for the database. So I'm going to use the same name for now, example. And I've got a password generator, and I can use the password it generates, which it fills it in automatically for me, or you can create your own. I would strongly recommend at this point grabbing yourself a text document of some form and taking a copy of the password that you've got, pasting it in there, and also the name of the database and the user you created as well. So when we come to the Joomla install, you've got those to hand. I can create the user now, and it's going to prompt me at this point what privileges this user needs on the database. Now this one needs all privileges. I'm going to tick the top one. Next step, and that's all done. So now I can go into my file manager. Now I've already opened this one up. I've got a few directories on my server, so I've got one ready already. And in the file manager, I've already uploaded here the quick start zip file that we grabbed earlier on. First thing we need to do is on here anyway, certainly for cPanel, I'm going to click on that one, right click and extract. And I'm just going to extract it to this directory. And there we go, job done. So now you need to go to your domain name. So whatever website domain name you're using. And I've got a domain name called J4 Helix, which is the one I'm using for my testing. And it prompts you straight away with the setup page for Joomla once we've unzipped those files. So I'm going to call it Joomla 4 test as the site name. And then it's going to ask me for the login data. Now this is the data that we set up already in when we just did the database details previously. So I'm going to, well, this bit's not, this is your name. I'm going to put my name in, the username, and I've got a password saved off screen that you can't see, so I'm going to use that one and paste it in, and then also give myself my email address in the bottom box as well. The next screen is now the database details that we saved earlier on. So I need to take the database username and the database name, paste them in, and also grab the database password that I created earlier on. The rest of this I'm leaving absolutely standard. I'm not changing anything else. Localhost for me is correct for the server host name where the database lives. Possibly different for yours. It will depend on the hosting you've got. And I'm going to click install Joomla and give it a few seconds. It's just like a minute or so to go through. And this is basically setting up all the files, the database is standard, and everything else that we've told it there on the way through. And there we go. So now I can, if you want, Joomla, as some of you may know, is by default multi-language and supports adding multiple languages to your site. If you want to install them now, you can. Or you can now click the buttons to go to the main home page. And there we go. This is now the empty, I say empty, it's the native raw Helix framework installation on Joomla 4. So if I want to look at the administration of this now, go to a separate tab and literally put the word administrator after the domain name. And here is where we can use the username and the password we've created during the installation to log in. And there we go. So this is the, whoever said before, I don't know. This is what Joomla 4 looks like in the back end compared to 3. A bit more modern, a bit more up to date. Things are all still there. I've not found anything missing that was in Joomla 3, but there certainly are in a few different places than there were before. So the Quick Start package is using a slightly older version of Joomla. So I'm going to go straight through to the update box on the right there, and I'm going to accept the warnings, because basically what it's doing is it's saying there are some extensions installed here that Joomla 4 doesn't believe are compatible, but they all are. These ones are fine to use and it won't cause any problems for me at this point in time. So I'm going to go back to there and I'm going to update Joomla to 4.0.4 so that I know I'm on the latest version. Tick the box, start update. Give it a second time. Downloads the files and runs through the installation itself as we go through. Boom. So if I want to test that, I can go back to my home page and just reload it again. As we can see, it's all still there. Nothing's changed from what we had before. I'm going to also go through and update extensions. So I can literally select them all and update, just so that I know I've got the latest versions of all the extensions in there and gone. And I get a checksum error. However, everything has updated fine there. No more updates to come. And again, back on the home page, everything's still the same as it was before. Admin stuff is all still working. Now, there's a couple of things that I always do with any fresh Joomla installation, just to make sure it's set up and secure as I want. First thing you might well notice is that by default, it's not running on HTTPS forced. So I would always force SSL on any site for security reasons. So if I go to System and then Global Configuration, I'm going to go through each of these tabs and change anything I want. I personally turn off the default editor to none, although you guys probably don't want to do that one. And I'm going to keep scrolling down. We can, if we want, set the meta description for the site. I'm also going to turn on URL rewriting in this tab. In the system, I want nothing to change, same as it was. Server, I'm going to turn on gzip page compression, and I'm going to force HTTPS for the entire site. I'm going to save, and that's now applied those for me at this point. Now what you'll notice now is when I turn on where is it? Get used to this moving all around a little bit. The URL rewriting, the home page itself will still load, but if I click on any of these items on the menu, I'll get a 500 error. and that's because we need to go back to our hosting panel and reload it again. And I need to rename the htaccess.txt to be htaccess with a full stop at the beginning. I'm going to rename the file, and there we go, we can see it changed. If I go back to here and it's trying to load the portfolio page and I reload it, there we go, it works. What the URL rewriting does, it takes out all of the index.php and all of those bits as well, and you'll also spot now it's forced it to HTTPS. I cannot bypass that. If I try and go to HTTP, it will put me back straight to HTTPS by default, which is exactly what I want to do. The other bit you can do, if you wanted, is in the come on, where's it gone? Site. Yeah, is you can set the site name in the page titles if you wanted to. At the moment, it just says the name of the page. If I save that and reload the page that I'm on, the portfolio. Hello, nice to see you again this morning. You'll spot that it's now added the name of the site to the page title at the top in the tab. Sometimes you might want to do that. You might leave it empty. Depends how you want to do your SEO and stuff. But generally, I leave it turned on unless there's a reason to turn it off. The next bit, now this is optional, but if I go to System and Global Configuration again, unless you need users to be able to register on your website for shop or some other feature you've got on there, I always go into Global Config and Users, and I disable user registration, and I turn off Send Password, and I leave it so that any new user has to be administrator activated. Basically, this now is going to give me an error for some reason, I suspect. I don't know why it does that one, because it's saved that without a problem. Turning off user registration means nobody can register with an account on your site. You get a lot of spam bots that manage to find themselves into the login page, and they can create a site, a login, and spam your Joomla site full of random users, which we don't want, so we've turned that one off. The other one, now I don't know whether this is still the same case in here. In Joomla 3, I don't know where it is in Joomla 4, I'll have to have a look. In Joomla 3 there was always a contacts setting. Now what that meant was if the contacts had the contacts settings had some contacts added by default, and you could basically, the spam bots would get hold of the contacts and their contact form would load up on the page, and again your server would start getting full of spam messages, and quite often can get blacklisted because of the messages it sends out from there when these contact forms fail to connect to they're supposed to. There we go, contacts on components, contacts and contacts. Joomla 4.4 is unfortunately the same, so I'm just going to delete that one. I'm going to trash it, and again if I go to System, Global Configuration and Contacts, I'm also going to turn off contact form. You could turn the contact form off. There we go, contact form, no. To hide it, save and close that. Now even if there was a contact in there, the spam bots can't grab the contact form, can't fill it in, can't generate loads of spam emails from it, and you've stopped yourself being caught out by any of those issues on there. So basically now that's the core stuff done. If you want to look at the extensions I always install on Joomla 3 and 4, I've got a video on that on my YouTube channel. But for now, we've now got Joomla 4 installed, got our login done, the settings changed that we need, and we've got a blank site to work from. So imagine this was you setting up your new site as a business or for your personal usage at home. What are the next steps? So as you can see, we've got the standard Helix logo, all the menu items and stuff that Helix provides us in there that we probably don't want to have. So the first thing I'm going to go into is menus and the main menu. And I'm basically going I'm going to change to view all. I don't want any of these items on there apart from the home one. So I'm going to click on the top now, and I'm going to unselect the home menu item because I want to keep that one. And I'm actually going to actions and trash those ones. So all I've got left now is my home menu. And now if I go back to my home page and reload it, There we go. I've got rid of everything that was in there. And I've just got my logo. The standard page builder content is in at the moment, and the footers and things, which I'll have a look at later on when I get through it. The next bit is if we go into System and Site Template Styles is the section we need next. And I want to click onto JoomShaper Helix Ultimate and then the template options green button. Now, for those of you that looked through my video last week, I went through all the settings in here as a bit of a deep dive to go through what's involved. So as a bit of a run through again, if this is your new site to work from, in the basic setup, we can choose our own logo. So at the moment it's got the Helix Ultimate one in. I can find one, I can upload my own file. Let's see if I can find mine quickly. That one. I'm going to do final logo, SVG. I always prefer to use SVG if I can. And I'm going to go for grey blue landscape too for the sake of it. SVG is always ideal if you can get away with it. It's going to be pin sharp on any device screen resolution size because it's a vector file. I'm going to set the same logo for Retina and mobile. I can set this if I want to. I can set the alt text for the logo. I can set the logo height, the rest of it that goes with it as well. I can also select the fav icon. So by default, you get the Joomla one. I like to change that one as a default because I always think it's what you should do. Have I got a logo in there? I'm going to find mine. I should have had it in the folder ready. My bad. LB2. Nah, where have I put it? You can have a nosy at all my logos, or my old logos. Oh, I've got one there. Use that one, fav icon. There we go. Again, you can use SVG if you want, or I would, other than that, use a 1:8 by 1:8 PNG file or a GIF with a transparent background. And if I save that now, and again, go back to my home page, that's my logo there, and my fav icon's now in the top of the page. I can go through the rest of this one. I can change the menu style at the top, the header, get rid of the top bar. I can go for more of a standard layout. Whatever you want to do, I'm going to leave it on minimal for now. You can change the heading settings if you want, the heights and stuff to that effect if you wanted to. Social icons and contact details and that type of thing. I also set the error page as well to be sure that there's something set there with my logo in it. I don't tend to set a background image unless the logo's white or whatever goes with it. But that's set. So if I go to my home page now and I just do a fake page, the Helix error page by default. Now somebody mentioned this to me. That the 404 page is not loading on Joomla 4. And would we know, it doesn't load. That should, on a Helix 3 site, a Joomla 3 site, give me the 404. There's one to follow up on for me. Give me something to do for next week. What should happen is you should get a JoomShaper 404 error like that. Basically, I haven't set my image on that one with a home button on it, but they've not done it on there. I'll have to go back. That looks like that's an error and a bug in the system somewhere. Certainly should work anyway. I shall follow up and come back next week. Next one, if you want, we can look at the presets. So we can choose a pre-existing color and it'll apply it to red, purple, blue, whatever you want to do. Or we can, if we want, go into a custom style and we can walk down each of the areas of the page. The top bar is what I've turned off. The header is the menu bar. We can set the background color. We can set the word colors and the hovers for the menu. And then also down into the body again, we can set the color for the body and the links and the link hovers. and the footer, which is this big long bar at the bottom. We can change all those. So that's where you can change that to your brand colours, match your logo, whatever you want to do in there. Layout, we're not going to worry about at the moment. That's going to stay the same. I have a video about that a bit more, and I'm going to come back to it in the future and look at how to create your own custom header, which is the menu layout at the top as well. The menu one, I don't tend to like keeping the off-canvas menu in. On desktop, I don't really see the point of it. It doesn't generally have a purpose unless you don't want the menu word showing. So I'm going to look at the off-canvas, the mega menu, and I'm going to change that to be mega menu only. And once that's applied and saved, that gets rid of the mega menu item. We can set the off canvas for mobile to be a different side if you want. I tend to prefer the right for some reason. We can also change the off canvas menu style. So if I save that and I use this at the top to change the viewpoint I'm looking at, so desktop, tablet and mobile, I've now got the off canvas menu on the right hand side, and I've used the center align setting for all the items. You can see where it shows up the contact details and bits and bobs. You can turn these off if you need to, so that they're not there. Turn the search off, for example. That's the search box gone. The login, anything else you want to turn off, you can do in there, and save. Next one, I'm going to pop that back to desktop for the sake of it while I'm in, is the typography. Now, by default, you can access any of the Google font files that the site's currently got linked through. So we can set these as you want. I'm a bit of a fan of Lato. Personally, we can set that, change the body font. Again, we can go down and set the headings, all of those we need to. Generally speaking, it's a bit of advice, is I would only recommend ever picking 2 fonts. I personally tend to stick with 1 font for the body, a separate font sometimes for the headings, and I usually match the menu font, the navigation font, usually with the body, but the heading one sometimes can work as well. It depends what we want to do. And save it. I've never looked into the blog settings for Helix and Page Builder. However, you can use this within the standard Joomla articles for the blog, and it will let you configure a lot of the ways this thing looks and how it all works and behaves and that type of stuff as well. Might come back to that one in the future because it's something I want to look into for my own benefit as well. Custom code, so you've got a Google Analytics tab. I know there is in Helix 4 a box you can paste in your analytics code. I'm still not sure whether that supports the new Google Tag Manager stuff. So I tend to just put the full embed code in before the head. In advanced, you can turn on compression, disable it, whatever goes with that. I don't tend to turn these on until at least it's ready for production use. But those that have followed me before, I do use JCH Optimize Pro for all my sites instead of the standard Helix stuff for no reason. I know that if you've got a more complicated site with more than one extension in it for stuff, you can do a lot more things with exclusions and things to stop any incompatibilities with the compression settings on there. However, pretty standard website with not a lot added to it. These are worth doing if you can, and check it all behaves before you do it. You can, if you sign up to the Google Fonts API, which you can do for free, you can then update the fonts list in typography. Sorry, it's not in there, is it? It's in there. Paste it in, save it, and then update it. That basically then syncs the fonts list in your Helix settings to the full list of Google fonts, so you get more access to more ones to go through and use on your site. Lazy loading for images if you want. So lazy loading, basically, if you land on the home page, it only loads the images you can see, and it then starts to load the sub images in as you scroll down. So in terms of page load time, it improves your page load time quite a bit on there because it doesn't load all the images through. Import and export, we're not going to worry about. And in terms of Helix there, that's actually the core settings done. We've now got our own logo in, our own colours, our favicon. Bear in mind, this is the admin page, so we don't say our own favicon in admin because that's the admin template favicon, which we've not touched at the moment. So how does Page Builder work in all this one? Page Builder is linked to the menu item, for example. So if we go to Components and Page Builder, you'll see we've got loads of pages already created in there for home, about, contact and stuff like that. If I go to my menu and do my main menu again, I've got the home page, which links to, if I edit it, it's linked to the menu item type is an SP page builder page. I can then select the page I want as the home page. So I've got a new one, I can change it. Save and close. And now, if I reload my home page on the live site, it's loaded through the new page, different page that I've created in the back end. If I want to do a new page at the top there, so a new menu item, say I've got a contact page to add in and I've designed it in Page Builder, do contact, spell it right, contact, and I'm going to do select the menu item type as Page Builder, page again, and this time I'm going to select the contact page and save. So now on my menu at the top, I've got home and contact, and the contact page is clearly empty because all it's done is add in the footer. It's adding the standard footer module. However, if that was a fully fledged page that you've created, that's how you then add more pages to your menu structure at the top. And by default, it also adds these to the mobile off-canvas menu as well at the side automatically. Might want to get rid of is this copyright at the bottom, and maybe these modules if you don't want them as well. A little bit I missed out of in there. I'm going to go to System, Site Template Styles, JoomShaper Helix Ultimate again, and back at the template options. And in the basic settings, you'll see the footer, and this is where you need to change this one. So I'm going to leave that in there as website copyright year, my amazing website. Save, and that's then updated the footer to be mine. That little word year in the curly brackets automatically updates to the current year. So if you want that to change by default, otherwise you can literally type the year in, delete that part out, and it will be static. But you might not want to do that one. I tend to leave it as the automatic one and leave it as it is. So that's how you change copyright. What about these last modules at the bottom? So I'm not going to cover how to use page builder in this one at all. It's beyond the scope of today's video. But you might want to get rid of these footer modules if you want to. So if we go into, is it content? Yep, content, site modules. We've got bottom 1, 2, 3, 4 positions. And that is literally 1, 2, 3, 4. Information, blog, company, photos. And I can literally select these, and I'm going to action unpublish, and now they've all gone from the footer. So basically speaking, all you would need to worry about doing now is going back into Page Builder and choosing your home page, whichever one it is you want to look at, or do a new one. Do my home page. Save it. I'm going to just add something. Oh, I can't. Can I add sections? I can't add these because it's need to add your license key in. I'm going to add a new row. Add a new row. I'm going to add an add-on. Say you want to put, I don't know, carousel at the top. Content. I'm going to text block. Save. Save and close. And then I can go back to my menus, main menu, home, change it to my home page, save and close. Now please don't look at the design of this one. The design, the background can be animated. So that's my, oh, interesting. My home page. Did I not save that one? Oh, there we go. I must have saved that right. I'm going to add a new row, pop the text block in. The background can be animated. Let me just see what you mean by that one. I'm not quite sure. So there's my, whatever your homepage is, you can build it, put it there as the homepage default, and boom, where you go. That's your website started and going through. The website background can be animated. You can, let me see if I can understand what you mean by that one while I'm in there. If I go back to my menus, and we'll change the homepage back to, did I use corporate, did I? There's no animation in that one. What do you mean by the background, Nicholas, on there? Let me change that to another one. It's not Home Legacy because that's the old Helix 3 style. Animated as in things that move around, or it stays still. You can set which bit on there? I'm having to guess what you mean on there. Page build, and I'm going to do home default. You can set a video background, which might be one option. You can set the because it's not I'm not on the pro version of this one, so I can't do it. In the pro version, you can set parallax on the background. So as you scroll, the background moves around as you scroll through. I can't do it in the free version because it's not one of the options you've got. Although I've never used the animation on a row. What does that do? Does that just animate the bits? I think that just fades the whole row in, as you can see as it fades down there. You can set parallax and stuff on it as on the background of the row settings, but not in the free version of Page Builder. So you can't do that in there. In the, let me think about which ones I've got this on at the moment. You can. There are some settings you can do that work on parallax, but in the pro version, I'll maybe come back to that at some point. I want to have a look into the Helix settings, and there's the Page Builder settings and what you can do with the rows and columns, and also the interactions at the front end to make things move around and animate more, which is quite a nice little feature if you don't overuse it and it looks a bit strange and bizarre. But anyway, that's where I wanted to get to today. For those watching, hopefully that would let you get to a blank Joomla form installation for yourself, how to add your logos to it, how to create your own homepage, how to set that up as a homepage, how to get rid of all the JoomShaper stuff. That's any questions that anyone pops into, let me know, so I'll come back to that one in the future. Other than that, I'll catch you next week, and thank you for watching. Bye bye. Oh, the carousel. Yeah, you can set the, let me go back, get a freebie extra when you're on it. Menu, still getting used to Joomla 4. Got to say, it is quicker though. Anybody else found that? If I go back to my homepage, I wouldn't necessarily use the carousel as a header personally, although you can. If I edit the row and make the row fluid, that will span the full width. Yeah, so that's your full width slideshow. To get rid of the gap at the top and the bottom, if I go to the row options and style and basically just take out all the padding, that will notch that right up to beneath the menu and take out the stuff beneath it. The other one, what was the other bit I was going to show you? I think that's what you meant. do it that way. Sometimes as well in the add-on itself, they leave the margin as 30 px at the bottom. They haven't in that one, which is quite nice. But yeah, that's how you can set that as a full width. It should be responsive as well, so it does shrink and grow on mobile and desktop as you move it around as well, which is quite neat. But yeah, I think that's what you meant. 5 seconds, I'm going to go. Otherwise, that's the last one for me for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye, Marilyn. Oh, good to see you at the end there. Bye bye.